Hi. So I want to start this video with something I don't say it out loud. There were phases in my life where I did lay in my bed knowing that I had wasted another day. Not resting, wasting. And I wasn't partying, I was not enjoying life, I was just scrolling, overthinking, and starting plans in my head but executing none. And the worst part is I didn't fail because I lacked talent. I failed because I did not had structure. I had disorder. So let's get factual here. Laziness is defined as lack of desire to exert effort despite of the ability. I might repeat that. It is lack of desire to exert effort despite of your ability. Okay, so what most of us experience instead is mental fatigue, decision overload, and nervous system dysregulation. And that, my friends, is not laziness. I might cite some research over here, you can see on the screen. So there's something most people don't know, that is your brain function is responsible for starting a task, switching between a task, regulating effort, and following through. And those functions are called executive functions, and those are controlled by your prefrontal cortex of your brain. Okay, executive function does not work well in chaos. I might cite that research too. I'm well prepared. Okay, so which translates to your life has no structure and your brain has to work 10 times harder just to begin with. Big facts. So, my breaking point was not dramatic, it was humiliating. I had a day where on my to-do list I had only one task, just one. And if I did that, I could, just call off a day. And guess what? How many I accomplished? None. Okay. Not because I did not care, it was, you know, I did not care, but by the evening, I was mentally frozen. That night, I didn't feel lazy, I felt defeated. Like, girl, you got just one thing and you didn't do that as well. And it happened multiple times prior to that. So that's when I realized that if effort required willpower every single time, then my system is broken. So let's talk about modern life which we live. So study shows that normal human being adult makes 35,000 decisions every single day, and which includes what to wear, which story to post, what to eat, and all those stuff. So older people, if they might be seeing this, they were like, oh, this generation is so fondled, you guys had it easy, that's why you guys have so much of issues. And look at us, we didn't face such. So to that I might respond is that you guys cleared most of your decisions by, let's say, fixing your meal time, your wake up time, your roles, who will do what kind of things, and you've had fixed routines. Okay, and which leads to less freedom and more peace. Okay, so leading to better mental health. And Another thing, that motivation is dopamine based. If you don't feel like doing anything and you feel like I might like motivation, it is dopamine based. And if you are hearing this word, you'll be like, dopamine, I have heard it many times, dopamine detox, which everyone talks about, like starting of the year, it is going around very much these days, this word. So, dopamine is unreliable, okay? It spikes with novelty and it drops with repetition. Dopamine detox, okay? If you repeatedly do something in a routine, it will drop. So what everybody is talking about dopamine detox, so let's get into system and it might help you in that. So I might cite a research paper on this as well. So structure, if you have this, it bypass motivation. Dopamine detox. Okay, you don't feel if you don't feel like waking up brushing your teeth, you do that even if you don't feel like, despite of you are gonna meet your girlfriend or boyfriend later on that day, still you do it, and that's what it's called, adulting. Okay, so for me it didn't start with goals. For me it started with non-negotiables. My fixed anchors, which is like, in a day, if I'm up, I'm not gonna sleep until I do this much things. So first is fixed wake up time, even on bad days. Fixed meal window and fixed sleeping time. I started by that. I was in a not good state, so I started by that. So if you're here in a slump, which they all, you can start with these things. It's a simplest thing you can do, I think. If you sleep on time, you wake up on time, and if you're eating like a normal human being, eat on a particular fixed time. Okay, so within 2 weeks of doing that, something changed. I was not happier, but I was calmer. And I'll cite a research paper on that as well. Now, another thing, rebuilding of another part of rebuilding, which most people ignore. And if you are searching for, New Year motivation kind of thing, and how to get out of slum, how to get my life fixed, most people will, most of that, if you Google it, and this part is missed everywhere. And I think I should involve this into this as well. And this part delayed my progress the most. That was my direction, and my space, my environment near me was a mess. Okay, it was not dramatic hoarding. It was not like I was being dirty, but it was like unfinished piles. Clothes on floors, on chairs. I was just careless that way. Like rubbish without a place, general stuff out of order, that kind of thing. And I didn't realize that it was my environment that was keeping me stuck. So let's get to facts. I read it somewhere that visual clutter competes for your attention even when you're not focusing on it. I'll cite that research paper on it as well. Which means that even if your room is messy, your brain working overtime just to exist that way. So it's not no amount of motivation can override that. No amount of willpower can override that. So I used to think that clean was a cosmetic thing, uh, something that you do after your life has fixed, right? But I was wrong. So what happened? Um, Back when I was living with my parents, and no one was allowed in my room because I had a thing that if even one single thing it is out of place and my time is wasted searching that, I would get blast mad. Okay, so no one was allowed to enter in my room, and somehow, my mom, how moms are, and I am from India, so how Indian moms are, keep bothering me, keep nagging me, clean your room, clean. I was like, I'll do it when I will feel like it. Okay, so then uh, somehow she used to snuck into my room, and she was like, oh my god, she's living like this. How can I say a live human live like this? And she used to, go around my room, and she would look around, and you know what she used to do? She used to pull out her phone, and she used to click photos and click videos and send it to a group of her sisters, her friends, and everything, and bullying me in that way. I didn't care. I was like, okay, I am like this and I'm like this. What are you gonna do about it? Didn't matter. It didn't change me, her efforts of, portraying me like this. Now I'm saying it on live. I didn't care. Another thing it is that which made me clean it, and it was that day that one of my friend, I overslept, and he called, and I didn't picked up, and then he reached out to my mom, and then he called my mom, and uh, she woke me up, and she for that video called him and showing my room and saying, do you guys also live like this? See, she's also living like this. Tell her something to live like a normal human being, kind of, bullying me sort of way. And when I woke up and I talked, and the word was everywhere. And then, because there were a few of the people, they were gonna come and meet me that day later. So I was like, okay, fine, I have to do it now. So that day, I cleared my room properly. Something in me settled. It was not happiness, it was stability. It was not like first time I did it, but yeah, after a quite while, right? And that's when I understood that order outside is order inside, and otherwise disorder outside, disorder inside. So I might another thing, beside this point as well, that I might show you something, by the way, and many people will have difference in opinion with this. So before that, in Vastu is a Indian Asian science technology. It is. So in that, we emphasize on organization of a space, right? It is a science of architecture, Asian Indian science of architecture, and you can see a circle over here, and that gray part you see is tamas, rajas, and sattva. These are three energy systems. If you're Hindu, if you're not, then I might tell you there's a book called Gita. It is teachings of Lord Krishna, and in that he explains about energy systems, which are basically three: rajas, tamas, and sattva. So I might not go into much detail of it. So if you want a reference, it's on chapter 14. There's a whole chapter on this three energy systems. So basically, in short, I'll tell you is rajas is hyperactiveness, and below that, Rajas is on top. Below that, it is Sattva. It is what everyone talks about right now, that flow state, alpha brain waves. Basic stable structure is your Sattva, the ideal stage which everyone thrive to be in. Second is, and the bottom of it is Tamas. So in Vastu, Tamas is a stagnant energy. It is inertia, right? So Tamas does not make you sad, it makes you inactive, heavy and stuck. So again I'll show you that system, circle, if you see that. So you see, if you spend most of your time at your home or at your workspace, or generally in general, if you spend most of your time in that Tamas zone, which I think it starts from northwest to east. So, and if you're facing problem because of that, so try moving to Rajas. Okay. And if you're on there, to try moving to, if you're very active and can't get your mind together, it is running out of course, try moving to Tamas. So why that? Why not directly go to Sattva? Because that's ideal state to go where. Because in Gita, in chapter 14, verse 14:10, Lord Krishna says that if you are in particular state and if you want to reach to Sattva, you have to, let's say you are quote unquote lazy, or let's say not in inertia, not active. So to directly go to Sattva, that won't be ideal because you will fall down. You have to go to Rajas and then make your way to Sattva. And likewise, if you're very much active, try to relax, calm down, and then can work your way to Sattva. It is that kind of way. It works like that. So don't permanently shift over south or southeast to south. Try using it as a medicine. Try it for a few months and then move to southwest or west, which is ideal, to stay with. If you can't do that, try spending most of your time in Rajas zone, like that is south. So it really helped me, really did. It just like opens your mind. If you're spending, back in when I used to stay for years, I used to spend my room was in northwest. Now I moved here. It was in northeast, and from there northwest is like very much unstable. So my dad and everyone believed in Vastu a lot. So I was unmarried, and so they tried to move to my room to northwest. So I don't know, it did worked out for me. I didn't got married, but it didn't work out for me. It gave my mind a bit of instability. Then in this house I moved to northeast. It made my mind really calm, really, and it did help me. But I was that very much that calming effect did on my life. And then I moved to southeast to south generally, and it was very, 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 very helpful. So you might try that as well. Give it a try and tell me how it works. So modern science and Asian systems, however, agreed on one thing, that is, your environment shapes your behavior and your reality more than willpower ever will. I tell you that. I'm citing that in you can see. So that's why if you notice one thing, the monks, soldiers, and traditional households, the rich ones, if you might know any one of those, so they might emphasize on one thing: clean floors, they applied Vastu as well. Clear sleeping space and also clear space below the bed, and keeping objects in space. That is also important. If you have visited a monastery, or in here we say it as ashram, so if you had a chance to visit an ashram, do that. And even if you can visit a army cantonment, you know you might have that army discipline and everything. So that things that they have everything in order. Sorry, they are mentally in order and that life is in order. So try implementing that into your life. And that was not superstition which they did, it was a behavior engineering. So many people say that, I'll clean my house, man, I'll feel good, but the truth is opposite. You will feel better when you clean, not the other way around. Okay, order is not a reward, it is a requirement. So chaos feels familiar. So if you grew up in a emotional unstable environment, so chaos does feel normal up till now. And normal does not mean healthy, right? So structure feels strict at first, but later it brings you accountability, and accountability is what which gives you a dignity in life, right? So concluding this, I'll say you're not lazy. Okay, don't beat yourself up to that. You're just living in a systems which demands structure. Okay, so start small and stay boring and stay consistent. Okay, so that's not weakness, and that's how adulthood, that's how all adults work. So stability is built daily. I'll see you in next one.